I'm explaining to you, the classic man is a danger to you. And me too, tatted on my forehead. Go home, go to bed. I dress, something we can just wake up. When the family unit is overrun, when the structure is undone by some new concoction. Now I walk softly and carry a big stick.
Welcome to the Franchise Show on Franchise Sports Media. I'm Joe Arrigo. With me is my brother TQ.
Yes, we're back. We're better than we ever have been, ladies and gentlemen. What's going down?
Man, it's been a hectic few weeks. We've been out ripping and running, traveling.
Man, like crazy traveling.
But let's talk about beyond traveling right now. Let's talk about something that we just got done doing, which was shooting the Mountain West tournament and UNLV basketball. And first, let's congratulate the Lady Rebels for winning the conference outright.
Yes, indeed. They did that. They did that completely. Ladies, good job all season long. Y'all been balling it up. We are extremely proud of you all. The city is proud of you all. And let's get some wins in the big dance.
Yeah, they find out Sunday, and it looks like they're going to play Arizona in Arizona as of right now. But Lindy LaRock, who is from Vegas, her dad, Al LaRock, was a hell of a coach at UNLV. And she got a lot of UNLV or a lot of local girls that came to UNLV, including Essence Booker, who was the tournament MOP, most outstanding player. Yeah. She's a baller. Justice, who was at Centennial High School when I was coaching there. I mean, they got some ballers. And let's shock the world. Let's win one. Let's beat Arizona and shock everybody.
Exactly. We need a win. We need a win, ladies.
Yeah, because
job is not finished.
But for the men, the job is over.
Yeah, it's done, man.
Man, like the Mountain West tournament, they didn't fare too well in it. They actually went through a 10-minute drought without scoring against Wyoming.
Yeah, man.
In the quarterfinals. And that
was the killer right there. Just couldn't get nothing to drop.
And it's not like Wyoming was that much better than
No, not at all. Not at all.
But a guy that we've known for a while now, Bryce Hamilton. I mean, he capped off a tremendous career, over 20 points yet again.
Yeah, man.
Really put the team on his back the last 2 years, you know.
He did. Bryce is one of, what do I have, 2 UNLV athletes on my wall. Yeah. Bryce is one of them. We kind of had the opportunity to grow with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, tough seeing them go, especially going like that. I really wanted them to go a little deeper in this thing because they compete, man. When they locked in, they a scrappy bunch. Like, I had a good time watching them this year as opposed to the years prior because the level of effort, whether they were playing well or not, it just seemed the motors just kept going. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they would just get in these droughts where just shots wouldn't fall. And then that would lead to some frustration, some poor shot selection. Sometimes Bryce would just have to take over. You would feel it in his head like, look, we ain't getting it done today, so I'm going to have to get it done. We've seen that before on on many levels, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I'm going to give Bryce credit because I was very critical of him early on and because I felt there was a lot of hero ball. Bryce in the last couple years felt like, he could do whatever and score and just take over a game when he wanted and kind of iced out and froze out his teammates. But after Kruger benched him early in the year, Coach Kevin Kruger, Bryce, almost like the light switch went on and he bought in. And it was like, okay, and he did a great job. And that allowed a guy like Donovan Williams, Donovan's a franchise boy. Donovan became that second scorer, was a Mountain West sixth man of the year.
Yeah.
So, now he had help and he realized that.
And I think that's part of it. Years prior, I don't believe, he trusted his teammates as much. And maybe it was the benching that caused him to kind of, give it a chance, maybe. But I think this year he looked around and he said, you know what? We can compete if we play as a team. And we watched this thing, man. We watched this with Kobe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not making the comparison. I'm just saying sometimes the star player just doesn't feel like he has enough around him. We don't necessarily know what's going on in a team's locker room. We don't know what's going on in individual players' heads,
right?
Psychologically. But I definitely was able to see this year that there seemed to be more team camaraderie, and there seemed to be a willingness to trust the other layers of the team.
And I think a guy that played a big role in that is Jordan McCabe, the point guard that came over from West Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm gonna kind of look ahead to next year. You know, you get Jordan McCabe back, you get Donovan back, you get Keyshawn Gilbert back.
I hope they get Keyshawn Gilbert back.
Man, Keyshawn's not going nowhere. He's from the city, man.
I hope
blame
not,
the
man.
city.
I love defense. I love defense in any sport, and that kid. He plays with his pants on fire. He plays defensively with his pants. I love the way he can go over a screen and get back into his defensive set. I love how rangy he is.
Yeah.
He can get back and forth on the court so fast. 2 steps and he's there. He's long, he's fast, he's quick, and he's aggressive defensively. He's not scared of anybody.
No, and what I love about it is I was watching him in warm-ups against Wyoming. And you've seen how muscular he got.
Yeah,
like he got bigger as the season went on, so he had gains. But he got bunnies. He's got boots because I'm watching him bang out in warmups, and I'm like, I didn't see that with him earlier in the year.
Nah, he got some lifts, man. He got some lifts.
So I'm looking forward to what Coach Kevin Kruger has up his sleeve with recruiting.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, down the road. But let's transition to something that, speaking going down the road, baseball traveled a long road.
Boy.
I mean, it was over 100 days. Players were locked out of the league, and finally, a couple of days ago, baseball comes back. They get a collective bargaining agreement done, and free agency is starting. And the Dodgers, man, those boys they're in it with everybody. Freddie Freeman,
across the board, as they should be every single year.
Brought Kershaw back,
yes,
for a reduced price.
I'm happy they did that. I'm happy I kind of thought that was gonna happen anyway.
I thought he was gonna go to the Rangers.
No, I didn't.
I go home for 1 or 2 years.
Nah, for what? This is home. He's at home. We drafted him.
He's from that area.
Come on, man.
But no, but on the flip side, what made me kind of think that he may stay, or want to say, it's his best friend, dude he grew up in, Matthew Stafford's in LA now.
Yeah,
and he's about to lock in for like $40 million a year. So
yeah, for real.
I mean, that's one good way. And then Jose Solar is a guy they're looking at. Max Muncy's coming back. They got a hole at shortstop. They got to do something there. Yeah. Maybe Carlos Correa, bring in an Astro.
Quite possible. I don't mind. I won't boo him. I might boo him the first time he touched the field, but
I wouldn't. Once you a Dodger, you're always a Dodger.
Yeah, and cheated the Dodgers out of a World Series, bro.
Yeah, but he can come here and cheat somebody else for a World Series.
I tell you, I'm glad to see it back, man. I hate strikes. I hate the amount of money that these people all make. Everybody on all sides make. Like, you should be able to work it out. It shouldn't take 100 days. Get in a room, hash it out, make it happen. You're all billionaires, multimillionaires. Come on, man. Let's get on TV and swing the bat.
Throw some balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of that.
I'm all with that. And
we started baseball this year with UNLV.
Yeah, we did.
Our first year covering baseball.
They got a player who I think he's a top 50 player in the country. Like, he's going to be drafted. Yeah, and he's local, went to Rancho High School. His name is Edarian Williams.
What position?
Second base. And but he could play short or third. He's like 6'3", cannon for an arm. Last week, he had 463 and missed the cycle on Sunday by a double.
Jeez.
Like, he's a real dude. Yeah, like, if you get a chance. And in UNLV, and full disclosure, my first game I went to was their first series against Michigan State, right? And they're actually pretty fun. Like, the walk-up music is, the players have some interesting walk-up music. You hear a lot of Nipsey, a lot of West Coast. And then you got one guy that walked up to, I believe it was some 80s, Fergalicious. Like, but for fans that want to go catch a game that may not make it out to the Aviators this year, they got like $2 beers.
What?
So you go there and you can get wasted for like $16.
Oh my goodness. Maybe I'm gonna come out there and get some drunk pictures, man.
That'd be good. And there's a thing called
out of focus.
The 335 Club.
What's that?
335 Club is in right field. It's the only bleachers in the outfield.
Okay.
They wild out there.
Oh, really?
So we got to do a feature on that. The 335 Club. But so real quick story about the UNLV baseball game. I went with my little brother and his sister last week, and we went on Friday night, and we were sitting down, and the guys in front of us, there's about 8 of them, right? Within the first 2 innings, they bought out all the beer they had out there. They were getting they literally got 8 at a time, and then they had to go back and get more beer. And they were heckling Cal Poly San Luis Obispo to no end. I loved it. It was the funniest thing, and they're actually real cool.
All right, I'm gonna have to get out there and get some shots, man.
Yeah, speaking of shots, man, it's teams are gonna take their shots in the NFL now.
Yeah,
including the Raiders. I'm a happy guy. Monday, Tuesday, you couldn't tell me nothing. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing on Tuesday.
Listen. We're not going to go off base on the show right now. We're not going to start talking about stuff that is irrelevant.
It affects the Raiders.
We're leaving that out. We're not talking about anything from Wisconsin today.
No,
we're going to stick to Las Vegas sports.
Yep.
We're going to have burgers with no cheese today.
Okay.
That's how we're going to do it.
That's fine.
We don't care about Aaron Rodgers and your little team. We don't care about any of that.
I care that Devontae Adams is.
We don't care about that either. We don't care about any of that.
Told you. That's what I'm saying. Told you. Told you months ago. It ain't happening.
This is what's gonna happen.
Here he goes. Conspiracy theory. We gotta put some conspiracy theory music right now.
This is what's gonna happen. We have a quarterback, and he's gonna continue to be our quarterback.
You think they keep Derek Carr?
Absolutely. Gonna keep Derek Carr. It doesn't make sense to like we got to the playoffs with this team for the first time in 97 years.
Can I be honest with you?
What?
I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm saying, come on, man. Like, come on. Let's pay attention. Let me sound like a broken record.
Here we go.
D-line, O-line.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. Protect the man. We've seen this for years.
Right.
There have been years when Derek Carr has been well protected and he's played well. There have been years when he hasn't been protected and he hasn't played so well. So protect him. This past year, he wasn't protected well. Years prior to that, he was. So we got to invest something into the offensive line, getting it better, not reaching in the first round, getting some person, like get a good offensive lineman in the draft at a value spot.
I have an idea. I have a really good idea, actually, if you're a Raider fan. La'el Collins, the Cowboys' right tackle, he's available. They just traded Amari Cooper for a 5th and a 6th round pick to Cleveland today, as we recorded this.
I wouldn't mind that.
You know, so you bring La'el Collins in. Now you have your right tackle and your left tackle secured. And then you go get a D lineman in the draft, but you go get the Patriots cornerback, JC. You bring him in to line him up. You spend the money on that.
That's going to cost. It's going to cost a lot of money, man.
The Raiders have the 3rd most cap space after they restructured Colton Miller's deal, Kenyon Drake's deal, and Corey Littleton. So they have the money. I think they are making a move in free agency. They're going to make a couple big splashes. I don't see them going getting a receiver unless they want to really spend on Allen Robinson. I mean, I'd rather go get a guy like Nelson Aguilar is getting cut from the Patriots. Bring Nelly back. Yeah. Hell, bring Marquise Lee in as well. Let's reunite them. Bring in Keese.
I'll take it.
You know, I mean,
I'll take it.
You bring those guys.
How's his health?
Marquise?
Yeah.
He's good. The knee injury, he's healed from that. I was just with Marquise last night. That's why you asked. Let's pull the curtain back. I was with Marquise at the Mountain West tournament. And knee's looking good. He looks like he's in great shape. He's in great. It's the happiest I've seen him since USC.
S House, baby.
Yeah. Sarah High School.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, you know, look, like I said, like I've been saying from the beginning, the key now, I feel like we have a bit of a foundation on both sides of the ball now as a team. The key now is to get better. You got to get progressively better. It's not about taking the small steps. It's about taking the leaps now because the foundation is there. Years prior, we haven't had a foundation. We had some good offensive players and a good quarterback. No defense. This year, we actually have we had a bona fide defense on this team. We've always said, hey, they didn't have to be the top defense in the league. They had to stop people from scoring 30.
Right.
That was effective. They got to the quarterback, even if it wasn't a lot of sacks. There was a lot of hurries. There was a lot of hands on mans, buns on the ground. We like that kind of stuff. So the point is now it doesn't make sense to do anything that's not going to have the team better in 2022, because if not, that you're rebuilding. Far as I'm
James
concerned.
Jones said it best when he was with us down at the Super Bowl, right? He said they're 3 players away. They're a dominant interior lineman that can get to the quarterback, a dominant middle linebacker in a corner. So you get the corner in free agency. You get the D lineman in the draft, and you can maybe get the linebacker in the draft. This is a pretty good linebacker, draft.
But we got to do something about the line, man.
Well,
we
no,
got to do something. It's too big of a difference between when our quarterback has some time and when he doesn't. It's too big of a difference.
That's why you address that in free agency or through trade. You bring somebody instead. Look at Armstead from the Saints is out there.
Yeah.
He's you're gonna, like I said, Lyle Collins. There's gonna be some guys that's out there. Billy Turner, if Green Bay cuts Billy Turner, that's the guy that can come in, and he kept Aaron Rodgers up, right?
Yeah.
So you have some guys that are out there that definitely could do it. But I'm gonna say this when I'm gonna go back to Carr. I'm not signing him for more than 3 years. In really 2 years. If he wants the $40 million like he's leaked to his brother, then it's gonna be 80 on top of the 20 that's there, and that's $100 million for 3 years. You can do the math, whatever. Because at the same time, I want to see more from him. And I know we've gone, I'm not a Carr basher. I've defended him like you for years.
Yeah.
But watching him play, I've seen some things that gives me trepidation.
I mean, I saw him too. I've been talking about the bird's eye view all season. It's totally different when you're there and you're able to see things that are missed. But at the same time, got to go back to the offensive line. Like, the offensive line was trash this year. They were trash. And compared to years past, like, Derek Carr could like trim his nails in the pocket compared to this past season.
You think that Carr is going to be able to, because McDaniels likes to get out, run play action and bootlegs and get outside up. He's not a fan of that. I mean, that's where I see but
there's give and take, man. There's got to be some give and take. The man is not in that relationship. I believe it's about bending a little bit from both sides. He might be he's not a fan of that. But how capable is he? Is that his strength? If it's not, then McDaniels has to lean a little bit to what Carr's strengths are.
If it's not, then why is he even there? Bringing somebody that can be, even if it's not this year.
Okay, well,
I'm just saying
this year. I'm talking about this year, man.
Okay,
I'm talking about right now. I'm talking this batch of players. You just locked up Max Crosby.
Thank God, and congratulations not only on the contract but the sobriety, Max. That's
across the board.
Yesterday was
congratulations to him, to the team. Like, that is a cornerstone move, and those are the kind of things that we haven't seen the Raiders doing over the last couple of decades.
And they have pass rushers now with Max and Ngakoue.
Yes.
I mean, now you have two guys that can go out and get it and get to the quarterback. And I think you need to get that interior rush. I think James is right.
Yeah, and you got to get that linebacker core got to be better, because that's I'm not mad at the secondary, man. I think they need time to gel. I think Nate Hobbs will come in better. I think Morig will come. How you say it?
Trayvon Morig.
Morig will come in better. And
he's untouchable to you.
Don't touch him. You could have got him first. If they would have picked him first,
but see,
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
But here's the thing, and then we talked about this at the draft last year. Yes, Leatherwood was a kind of a reach, but if you reverse him and Morik, you're not going to complain.
No,
and so it doesn't really. It doesn't really matter if you really look at it. People want to bitch and complain about something because they reach for a lineman. Well, okay, but let's say Leatherwood slides into right guard if they go get Lyle Collins, and he plays well. Now your right side is legitimate. Now you got some monsters, guys that are like 6'7", 300 plus.
I mean, but still, 5 games in, the man switches positions. That tells you something wasn't right in the scouting, right?
But who says scouting? Who says that wasn't? Gruden listened more so than anybody to Tom Cable. That's a Cable guy. So is that on the former GM, or is that on the former team president / head coach?
Hey, I don't know.
I just know line coach.
I know those people are gone. So
that's my point. So if McDaniel says, okay, look, we like him better here, because McDaniels, Belichick tree, they love Alabama guys,
right?
So you put him at right guard. Collins, you have Smith was the center. I forget his last. Smith? No,
I can't think.
Well, whatever the center. James, Andre James, and then you got to figure out the left guard spot, and you got could be John Simpson and Colton Miller. That's not bad, and it's young.
I mean, it sound cool. It sound cool. Like, this one this year didn't sound as bad as it was to me when I looked at what the lineup was going to be.
But we thought Incognito was going to play too.
Right, we did.
Big Rich.
That was a big loss right there.
Huge loss.
Looking at it, that was a big loss. I mean, you know, that I feel like the conversation has been keep DC or trade DC, do this, do that. And you can't get better by trading DC, so you need to protect DC.
Okay, so let's before we get to the guests that we had down on Radio Row, we talk about people that want to move DC, people that want to keep DC, right?
Yeah.
One guy that's out there, if they want to move him, he's just been cleared of all charges, is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, for sure.
He may be the one quarterback that I know is available, that you know is available, that we can say, okay, let's get rid. This is the guy that we can move on from. We can bring in and move on from DC. Not only is he younger, you know, quite frankly, he's better.
I was saying that until I started paying attention to the load. That's going to knock us back. That's going to knock this team back. You're going to have to give away
3 first rounders and maybe
then they
couple
pick
players.
players. They're going to pick the players. The only person untouchable is going to be Max Crosby
And Morrig.
I don't know if he's going to. No, he's not going to be untouchable. Are you crazy? He's on his second year.
But this is where I disagree. I think if Carr and 3 first rounders, they'll lock him into a big deal like he wants, and then they could turn around and maybe
they're going to take a cornerstone off of this team in addition to Derek Carr. It's going to be.
Would you be mad if it was Josh Jacobs?
Yes.
You'd be mad about Josh Jacobs.
Yes, I'd be.
He would prevent you from adding a top 3 quarterback on the team. Josh Jacobs.
I'm not going to have a first round pick in how many years?
3.
And then I'm going to lose Derek Carr. I'm going to lose Josh and another star. It's going to be 3 stars from the team that's not going to be here next year.
No, it'd be Carr, Jacobs, 3 first rounders. But let me point. You talk about the picks. Well, let's talk about some picks. Henry Ruggs, Damon Arnett, Leatherwood. Those are 3 first round picks. You're giving up 3 guys potentially that are like that. You're gonna let Josh Jacobs be the guy to hold you from getting Deshaun Watson, who you know damn well is one of the top quarterbacks in this game, and you love his game.
That team is not getting out of the AFC West next year.
They need to block.
It's not happening. The team that you're talking about is not getting out of the AFC West next year. The team that we have right now, if they block for Derek Carr, I believe can.
So you're willing to pay $40 million for the 4th best quarterback in your division? That's what he's asking for, and that's what he is.
That's the going rate.
It's not the going rate.
That's the going rate for somebody with his accolades. That's the rate. That's what you pay. That's what you pay.
I think
Patrick Mahomes, yeah, okay, I get it. He won a Super Bowl. How many years has he played? If he never does,
6.
if he never gets, he could be Dan Marino. What if he never gets back there?
He still got a ring.
Okay, cool. It's the going rate. Pay the money, honey. Simple as that.
I don't know about all that.
Pay the money, man.
I just think
can't get better without him. You got to give up too much to get Deshaun. I would love to see Deshaun in silver and black. If that happens, I'm going to root him on. But I think that takes us back a couple of years. I think we got to build around him, and it's going to be a while before we actually can.
So do you think that the Raiders this year are going all in for a Super Bowl run?
They have to. They have to.
Why do they have to?
Because they have to. What do you mean? The Super Bowl is coming here next year. They got to do what the Rams did.
No. It's in Arizona next year. The year after it's here.
That's what I mean. The year after this.
I'm talking about this year coming up.
They need to be trying to best what they did this year, like they have every single season since they moved to Vegas. They need to win 2 more games. They need to win 1 more game. They need to be going for it every single year. The next 2 years, they need to do 1 game better. And they'll be in the Super Bowl at home. And you do whatever it takes to get there. The Rams just showed you that. Tampa Bay just showed you that.
The Rams gave up first-round picks for established stars.
Okay.
And you just said to go all in, and I throw out
the Rams didn't have Derek Carr. They didn't have.
They had a quarterback that led them to a Super Bowl and more playoff wins than Derek Carr and Jared Goff.
Man, they had a better team. All they had a defense. They got there because of their defense.
That's not the point.
Aaron Donald.
The Rams laid out a blueprint on how to get to the Super Bowl.
The Rams had a defense before they did anything else. They already had a defense.
And you know how they got
Raiders
the defense?
Didn't have a defense.
They traded first-round picks for players.
They never had a quarterback.
Stars.
They never had an established quarterback. They got one this year for the first time.
Jared Goff has more playoff wins and more Super Bowl appearances than Derek Carr, regardless. And
Jared
the
Goff
Rams
had a defense.
The Rams, to their
Derek
credit,
Carr has
said,
never
this
had
is
a
the way
defense.
we're going to build our team. We're going to build our
Did
team.
he do it with a defense that was sub 27 in the league?
That's not my point.
That's my point.
My
That's
point
the
is
point I'm trying to
they
make.
literally spent first-round picks on players to come in, or draft picks on players the same way Seattle did,
Because they
to
had
get
a
to the
team.
Super Bowl. Even before that,
You keep talking about these teams that already had defenses. You're talking about Seattle and you're talking about the Rams. Aaron Donald and the Legion of Boom. Why are we comparing this? The Raiders haven't had any of that. This is the Raiders' first year getting to the playoffs. And how long? Last time they got to the playoffs, the quarterback wasn't even in the game.
bro.
It's a totally different situation.
My point is, the Rams laid out a blueprint because they were one and done in the playoffs last year, like the Raiders, with that defense. Okay, and then
Their
they said
quarterback
doesn't matter.
was trash.
He didn't even play in the game. Didn't play in the game,
He was trash,
but he was hurt. Didn't play. That defense didn't lead him to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what your problem is?
I'm smart and
Look,
intelligent.
no. That's not. That's not it. Sports, right? A big part of sports is in the brain.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree with this, right?
Yeah, I'm a former athlete. Of course, I agree with that.
There is something wrong with your brain. So what I propose that we do is we had a guest. We got a guest that's one of the most fascinating people that I've met in sports, to be honest. His name is Dr. Michael Gervais.
He was the first psychologist hired by a professional team.
Yes, which shows you how important, this part of life in general really is. And what I got out of us talking to him, we talked to him at Radio Row for the Super Bowl, was how much sports psychology can apply to just everyday life, from the football field to the assembly line. Your job weighs on you mentally.
Hell yeah.
Right. And there are definitely ways to get around it and ways to go off the deep end. So there's a lot of things that he said that I think that our audience would definitely be able to dig into.
You said your job weighs on you heavily and it
Completely.
causes you to go off the deep end.
Oh yeah.
So you're the reason why I'm batshit crazy.
Absolutely not. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's why he needs an appointment. So y'all watch the segment, and I'm going to be on the other line getting my man set up to go sit on the couch. He needs it.
Here's Michael Gervais on Radio Row with The Franchise Show.
Franchise Sports Media, Las Vegas, the best in the West.
Welcome back to The Franchise Show. Joe Arrigo, TQ.
Yeah, we're in the building.
That's OG off the new album forthcoming from Squeeze Your McSqueeze right here.
Yes.
We got a good guess.
Yes, we do. Going into my wheelhouse.
Yep.
Dr. Michael Gervais, sports psychologist. Man.
You guys got a good vibe.
Yeah,
we tried to.
Bringing it.
Yeah, we tried to.
Okay, good.
So let's jump right in, man. Like this is very interesting to me. We always hear, people try to say that this game coming up, the Super Bowl, is just another game, right? If it is or if it isn't. You've been in the locker rooms before. You've been in the locker rooms after. The mental state that it takes to play in a game this big. Where does it start?
Well, So I've been fortunate to be part of two games, two of the bowls with the Seattle Seahawks. And, we won one.
Right.
We came up a little short on the second one. Okay.
A couple inches.
A couple inches. Yeah.
Boy.
Well, there's a lot of jokes there.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta let that open.
Yeah, okay. You were sure where to go with that word. Okay.
Take it where you want, Doc.
Oh, boy. Okay, so, all right, pregame. Here's the deal. There's two fundamental ways to look at the Super Bowl, whether it be the Olympics or World Championships or the thing. Either you're seeing it as just another game, to your point, or you're seeing it as the biggest show on earth. Okay, this is the thing. And most people want to be casual, and they want to play it both ways. Like, yeah, this is the thing, but it's just another game. Well, no, you have to pick one.
Right.
And then what you need to do. So let me just kind of back into this. If you fundamentally pick one that I'm training for the Super Bowl, and it's the biggest show on earth. And then what you need to do is practice. You need to practice that way. You need to go to preseason that way. You need to go to game number 3, game number 13. It's the same. You're practicing on how you show up. This is the biggest game. This is the biggest practice. And it's Thursday, and it's Wednesday of week 4, whatever.
Right.
And then by the time you show up to the games, it's just another game.
Good
Okay.
point.
So you got to back into it. That's the deal.
Okay, but I got a question with that. And it's a question I've been asking a lot recently. With the start time being elongated from the start of the Super Bowl and then the 40-minute halftime show, how can someone prepare for that if they're, a player where you're a creature of habit and you got 12 to 15 minutes to go in, get your, whatever adjustments you're going to make, and then you come back out?
Okay, you're right on the money because we actually scripted that for both games. And so we script it, though, in preseason 1 and preseason 4 and game number 1. What is your plan? What is your pre-performance plan? What is the routine and what's the plan? What do you do during halftime? We ask athletes to write it down. Be very clear. Work it out with your position coach, and then just go through it. And then we rehearse that. Like we practice that too, because it's not that your plan is actually going to dictate your mind, but you're creating familiarity.
Got it.
And that's actually also what another mental skill does, mental imagery. So before I get to imagery, with the long elongated, we practiced that the 2 weeks prior to going into the games as well. So we had a plan. We even had a contingency plan for one of the games where we had a lightning strike.
Oh, wow.
Where halftime became it was like 3 times as long as a
Really?
normal. Yeah. So we practice those things as well. Yeah.
Heavy.
The better prepared you are, the less risk you have to take. And what's wrong with risk? Nothing.
Right.
It's where you find out what you're made of.
Absolutely.
Right? But if you're constantly laying risky bets, eventually you get burned.
Right.
So if you got big chips on the table and then you've got big banks, it's just a lot easier to play the smart hand.
Makes sense. So being in you're a psychologist, so can you actually tell when a guy is not ready? Can you actually look at him?
Don't tell him because he'll look, are you ready, Joe?
Yeah, you can tell, but I think you can look at somebody's body language. So people are telling us all the time about their psychology. It's the micro expressions.
Okay.
It's the way they carry themselves. It's the demonstrative body language. Are they tight? Are they loose? You can see that kind of stuff. It's a revealing of their psychology, the way that they handle themselves. But psychology is invisible.
Right.
This is why it's the most beautiful and amazing science. It's completely, we know it on the world stage that psychology matters, flat out.
Yes.
What percentage of the game do you think is based on psychology?
The majority of it. It's got to be.
And so how much time do you think that, give a number, do you think it's
80%?
80%, right? And so do you think that 80% of the time is spent on psychological excellence?
Absolutely not.
Hell no.
You see the opportunity here.
Yeah.
Right? You see the opportunity.
Yeah.
We
Makes
haven't
sense.
scratched the surface of potential in the NFL. We haven't scratched the surface.
That
And
makes a lot of
so
sense.
I say all of that because you can't really tell pregame. I said you get some looks, you get some tells. Early in my career, I get used to, 20 years ago, coach would say, what do you think?
Right.
And then so I was like, man, I'm supposed to know. That's my job, right?
Right.
I'm supposed to know. I didn't know. So then over time, what I figured out is okay, so let's say the quarterback. What do you think of his framework? What do you think of his framework? And then if the coach goes, yeah, it's pretty sturdy. I go, okay, well, you're probably going to get a sturdy outcome. Like you got something to bet on.
Right.
If you're like, yeah, he's a little bit of a mess. Right? Like his framework is a mess. Then you're probably going to get something really inconsistent. So it's not so much can you tell, it's really like what are they resting on as a framework.
Okay.
And when you're durable and sound and you can bend and not break in practice and in training and in game number 4, whatever, then you know what to bet on.
You worked with Pete Carroll. I covered Pete Carroll for his entire tenure at USC. I love Pete.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, great guy. What was it like? Because you probably evaluated Pete from the side, and Pete's wired different. What was it like working with Pete, and what did you find interesting or even surprising?
Yeah, so Pete has a deep appreciation for exploring potential for people. So he's really interested in the psychology of excellence. And So it was an absolute pleasure. Like, I was with the team for 9 years. We ended up building a business together, taking best practices from sports psychology into business. And so making that translation, like, to help your athletes in the business world be present and calm and focused and use their imagination to explore excellence. So that was an absolute thrill. And he understands the value of helping people believe in themselves. And the whole kind of positivity that he gets cracked with is, he really believes in the good in people. And he is different.
So tell me this, leading on Pete. After the game, when a player or a coach has made a tremendous blunder at the end of a game to lose the game, what do you have to do in the locker room to bring them back to life?
And not drink beer.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, drinking beer would be the least of the problems.
Well, I was just trying to be nice.
You know, right, yeah, okay, good.
I mean, sometimes they like take, for instance, in the San Francisco game a couple of weeks ago, when the safety dropped the pick,
Yeah.
won the game, and you see all of the tweeting and you see all of the apologizing and everything else, like that's a really low place to be in, and I imagine you're the person to bring them out of it.
Well, yeah, if need be, that's like, emergency mode. But hopefully what we do is we set it up well in advance, is that, listen, you're going to make mistakes. We talk about that at practice. Make mistakes. Get on the edge. Don't make the same frickin' mistake over and over again. You're not growing. Make mistakes so that you have the opportunity to practice letting go of a mistake. Okay? So that's one. The second is that we need you to be a great teammate. So you're going to make mistakes, right? Yes. You know your boys are going to make mistakes, right? Yes. So what are you going to do when they make a mistake? How do you want to be treated? Treat them that same way. So then we practice that skill as well, being a great teammate. So that's why we say, like, if someone's down, pick them up. But practice that.
Yeah.
And then post game, I'll tell you a quick story, is that something similar happened where it was a last game mistake. It cost the game. And listen, you do not need to pile on an athlete.
Right.
They care.
Right.
It's like that's why they're there.
Right.
So he comes into the locker room and destroys the locker room. Gatorade, flipped upside down, the whole thing, like kicking stools and making a mess of the locker room. What he was doing was trying to, in this archaic way, tell everyone around him that I care, I know what I made a mistake, please don't lay on me because I'm embarrassed. So he's trying to demonstratively, grab that attention, like, listen, trust me, I get it.
Right.
All of that is extra, because if the first thing that happens is a coach or an athlete comes up and goes, hey man, I love playing with you.
Right.
I got your back. Move right on.
Yeah.
But you got to go to the drawing board. You got to go back to, work with your coach, get in the film room, figure it out, so that you can feel that pain and grow from it. Now, I'm going to end on this question, is that how do people grow? Feel pain.
Absolutely.
100%. So I actually have two questions. The first one is, how big of a role, or how has social media changed what you do in your job? Because, people go on Twitter after a situation like that, or Marcus Williams with the Saints when he missed a tackle on Stephon Diggs and they lose the game on that. How big is social media? How has that changed your line of work? And, obviously it's probably increased business, I would assume.
Oh, yeah. Social media, you guys know it. It's a tool. It's a great tool to share insights, to, present your brand, to share your thoughts and ideas, to promote what it is that matters to you most. Like, it's a great tool. It's a connector too, but it is also it is the medium for incredible noise.
Yes.
So in psychology, there's a thing we talk about, signal to noise ratio.
Okay.
People that are working on mastering their craft are trying to get to the signal.
The 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually, like, according to that research, the 10,000 hours is really popular. It's more like 15 to 20, according to the research. Yeah, right?
Agree.
And so we're trying to get them to the signal. And so the noise is what somebody thinks of me. And so if I'm going to check, think about how crazy this is. You think Picasso would go out and, like, say, yeah, I just did this thing. Do you think I'm any good?
He would give two F's about it.
No. Right?
Absolutely not.
Right? So why would we
Why would we do it?
Why would we go check into, like, do you I'm going to outsource my confidence. I'm going to outsource my self-esteem and ask you am I okay?
Like seeking validation.
I'm going to outsource my self-esteem.
That's a great line.
Can you imagine how dangerous that is?
Oh, my God, is it?
Forget about it. How about that? That's what most people are doing as soon as halftime or whatever, they're checking.
Yes.
What do my boys think? What do they think? You know, and it's a really dangerous practice. And I'll tell you what, the social media, the companies, God love them because all the things they've done well, we are outgunned.
Yes, we are.
There's
100%.
hundreds of PhDs that got your brain tapped.
Absolutely right.
Tapped. And so you got to figure out how to use it or it's going to use you for sure.
And then my second question I had was, we're in LA, and not only did we grow up loving and growing up and watching and appreciating Kobe Bryant, I covered the Lakers for a number of years and got to know him. His type of leadership in the locker room, if a player doesn't respond well to it, what would you say to that type of player that just couldn't deal with Kobe being as brutally honest and at times abrasive?
Yeah.
I think it'd be hard to play with Kobe if you didn't have the same intensity.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be really hard if you were kind of faking some stuff in your life.
Yeah.
And because Kobe, legend, is an honest athlete, right? Like he represents, just like Michaela Schifrin last night, an honest athlete to absolutely drill down to the truth of something. Yeah. And so if you're not going to be honest in your approach of mastery, I think you got a long season. You got a tough road to go. And most people are not honest right now.
You're right.
They're faking it till they make it.
Right. I mean, what a poison that is, dude.
Yes, it is.
Like, do you want to buy a fake watch? You know,
fake Rolex. We were just talking about that at dinner last night.
What'd you get, a Rolex?
Yeah,
Folex.
Tick, tick, tick,
Folex?
tick, tick, tick.
Yeah. No. You want the good stuff.
Yes.
You know. So yeah, I love those questions.
Have you ever been in a situation where you went to the coach or coach came to you and said, "Look, I'm having an issue with this particular player, and I need your help with him specifically."
Mm-hmm. First of all, your guys' voices, like, Jesus.
Okay, so
golly.
He's a singer-songwriter.
Yeah,
okay.
Come on.
I'm just
like
a radio
this wispy guy over here. Like, you guys are like, you know, it's great. So, yes. Early in my career, I'll tell you. So as a first year pro hockey, and a coach goes, "This is going to be great." All right, Doc, we got one for you. And I was like, good, I'm needed. Okay, good. Like, I didn't really know the team dynamics. I didn't know the culture. And so I was like, great, like I'm going to be useful here. Listen, 20 years ago, I was just getting going, right? And so high talent, extraordinary talent, and quote unquote a head case. So as soon as he and I were walking down the hallway, all of the other athletes looked and said, right. See the new guy? Stay away.
Oh my God!
Right? Okay.
Wow.
So that's a wrong approach.
Yes.
Right. That was a wrong approach. Okay.
For real.
So what I learned is that you've got to get at it ahead of time, and so then I was afforded. Do you guys remember Red Bull Stratos? Do you remember that project?
I do.
So when Felix Baumgartner, one of the most significant athletes of our era, went up 130,000 feet in a balloon that he and the team built and jumped from the edges of outer space. And the greatest minds were not sure if his arms and legs were going to rip off. I mean, this has never been done before. So those are the projects where I cut my teeth. So I was
really
so it was almost a decade ago now that we did that project. So I was able to post that event. I was able to go into environments and people walking down the hall be like, "Hey, that dude's a little nuts. Like, he'll get you to places that, like, the rare spaces.
Wow.
Like, I want to get some of that. I want to be great."
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden it starts to change. And so it goes from the medical mental model to the high performance model. And so it's a long way of getting to your very eloquent question. There's a trap. And saying, "Can you work with this one?"
I get it.
Yeah, right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to get your card for sure.
For real. I'm saying, honestly, the first time I ever heard about a doctor working with an organization was when I was with the Braves. And I was a player, and I think Steve Avery. Steve Avery was going through some things. He was going, whatever it was.
Right.
And they hired somebody, and it helped Steve, and it became an organizational So if we had a problem, our agent would let them know, and then they would call whomever. And I'm all for therapy. Yeah. I mean, I think if you can better yourself by any means, you need to do it. And there's stuff as men, and I can only talk about it being a man, right? There's stuff that we internalize that we're taught at a young age in a lot of cases. You can't do this or say this or cry, whatever. And all that does is just create something inside it, an insecurity almost. I mean, and you're scared to be vulnerable. Yeah. And
especially when you've been you're in the upper echelon of what you do for the majority of your life. You get to that point, and it's like when things start to fall out of control. I can absolutely see how you're needed, Doc.
Well, so that was probably 20 years ago, 15 years ago. You're just
it was early. It was late 90s, early 2000s, mid to late 90s. Yeah.
Okay. So it's changing, right? Like that is the external consultant that's there if there's trouble.
Okay. Right.
So there's only 3 things that we can train as humans.
Okay.
You can train your craft.
Right.
You can train your body.
Right.
And you can train your mind.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you leave one of those up to chance?
Absolutely.
God, dog.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
So you can train your dragon. You know, if my 12-year-old's here, you say you can train your dragon.
Right.
But, okay, but those 3. That's a bad joke. Psychologists are not funny.
I get it.
Just go ahead.
No, I got it because we got kids, so I got it.
Right. Yeah, it's bad.
Great dad jokes.
Yeah.
Great dad jokes. Yeah. So why would you leave one to chance? And so the leading franchises are folding it into the DNA of practice. So it's a full-time position that is working, and this is what we're doing, to our best abilities up in Seattle. I wasn't with them last year, just to be clear. Like last year, 2 years ago was my last year.
And we've seen what happened, Seahawk fans.
You better bring the doc back.
No, I'm not. Listen, I got to be careful what I say here, right?
Nah, it's just us. A couple guys in the room. We're good.
So we're trying to our best abilities, fold that whole thing in so you're going to get great physical, great technical, great tactical, and great mental conditioning.
Yes.
So that you can bring your whole self, your best self, and explore your potential. And if it is this extra little thing that you kind of encourage athletes to go do on the side, no one has time for extra. Like it can't be extra. It's got to be it's got to have its seat at the table of excellence.
It's got to be built into the program.
That's how it's working right now.
It's like a layer. Yeah. It's a layer to everything.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, it makes so much sense, man.
Like onions.
Really?
No, parfait. Everybody loves parfait, Shrek.
Oh my God. Yeah, you guys are great.
Goodness.
Dr. Gervais, man, we appreciate you coming on. Like,
I appreciate you.
Actually, we want to have you on again. I've talked about because I didn't know where this was going to. I'm full disclosure. I was like, Squeeze, you lead the way, but then I had some questions. But I have more now, and I would love to have you on to talk about more stuff. And when you're in Vegas, man, you got to come holler at us.
Yeah, please hit us up, man. Because when they came by and said you was gonna come down and sit and talk to us, I'm like, man, this is some questions that I want to really get out, and it's some answers that I feel people really need to hear.
He's talking about me.
This subject.
And the company. There's always a code.
That's what it is.
Right, yeah, that's great.
Thank you so much, man. Really.
Hey, can I plug my pod?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Let's get it. So Finding Mastery. So it's a podcast. We've been around 6-7 years, and we sit down and have conversations with the extraordinaries, how they work with their mind.
Oh, yes.
And so
I'm on that.
Yeah, come on.
What is it?
Finding Mastery.
Where can they find that at?
Everywhere, right? Like
all over
iTunes, Spotify.
Yeah, you know what? I say that, and I just realized, if I was big time, I'd say exclusively on Spotify. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Okay.
Well, we know somebody that knows somebody.
Yeah.
That guy right there.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to plug it. It's definitely a subject that I love, that I'm interested in, and I believe that so many of us need what you provide.
Thank you, brothers. Yeah, we need
Thank you for sitting down and talking to us.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Gervais. It's the Franchise Show with Joe and TQ. Hey. We'll talk to you in a minute. We want to once again thank Michael Gervais, clinical sports psychologist.
Yes.
One of the best in the business. In fact, Yogi Roth, who works with the Pac-12 Network, he'll be on with me because you dipped out of Radio Row for a much-needed vacation.
Say, man, yo, check this out. See what I'm saying? Don't listen to the lies. That's fake news. Fake news. Continue.
Anyway, Yogi works at the Pac-12 network. Yogi's one of my really close friends in life. When Yogi found out we had Dr. Gervais on, he was like, dude, Michael's the best. Yeah. Yogi worked with him a little bit because Yogi was with Pete Carroll at USC. Mm-hmm. He's his quarterback coach, and obviously he's still connected to Pete in the Pac-12 network. So he was really excited. So yeah, Michael Gervais is great. I'm gonna thank him again. Phenomenal time.
Yeah, we got Joe set up with an appointment. So I told y'all I was gonna do work during that break right there, and we'll keep you posted. We'll keep you posted on.
He already told me I have no mental issues already.
Whatever. I gave the man all that credit. Do you want to put him out there bad like that?
Nah. Anyway, we'll be back next week with another special guest. We're gonna run back everybody we had on Radio Row.
Yeah, man, because we had some really, really good interviews. I was happy to see all the people that connected with us. Most of them had a good time. A lot of them was like, man, that Joe talked my head off. So that'd be my last interview with you guys. But otherwise, it was pretty good, man.
So this season on the Franchise Show, we'll have Edward James Olmos and Emilio Rivera from Lions.
Oh my.
That got me geeked.
Yeah.
We'll have Lee Steinberg, the real life Jerry Maguire.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Solomon Wilcott.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Romanowski.
Oh boy.
JT the Brick.
Yes.
Who else do we have down? We had a bunch of people down there.
Josina
Anderson, Annie Ager.
Yes, sir.
Marcus McNeil, former Charger offensive lineman.
Yeah, man. We had Trey, we had Kenny, we had James Jones. I think y'all saw parts of those.
Oh, McLovin, Andrew Perloff.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal when that one comes out. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, all season long, we got it for y'all this year. So y'all don't have to just sit up and listen to Joe talk on and on for hours.
Or TQ bitch and complain about anything and everything.
Got some interesting people here this season, you know what I'm saying? So
some experts.
Stick with us. The Franchise Podcast is back.
That's right. We're back once again, and we're coming back at you next week because that's what we do.
Yeah.
TQ, I'm Joe. I'll holla at you next
Joe's
week.
going to his appointment. Ladies and gentlemen, we got it done.
Franchise Sports Media, Las Vegas, the best in the West.